Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Shakinah binti Abdurrani. My metric number is 060084. Today, I will present about the importance of diplomatic recognition in international law. For the introduction, diplomacy is the art and science of keeping nations, groups, or people at peace. Diplomacy is frequently used to refer to a representative from various parties addressing problems such as war, trade, the environment, and technology or security. In international law, diplomatic recognition is a unilateral declaratory politic act by a state that recognizes an act or status of another state or government in the charge of a state. The declaration is intended to meet some key prerequisites of statehood needed by international law. The essentials of recognizing a state are population, territory, government, sovereignty, and control, which should be permanent. If these prerequisites are met, the state may be acknowledged. The first point is maintaining relationship between states. Diplomatic recognition is important as one of the primary criteria for statehood recognition by other states. A state is a state precisely because it is recognized as a state by other states. Such recognition can be formal legal, usually known as de jure recognition, or implied through a state actions, usually called de facto recognition. Diplomatic recognition is important in having a relationship between countries. Diplomatic recognition is the official acknowledgement of the existence of another sovereign and independent state by one sovereign and independent state. Although it has legal implications, recognition is entirely voluntary and mostly a political decision. Both governments recognize the duties, responsibilities, and privileges embodied in the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations Treaty Obligation 1961. The recognition of the state is considered permanent but may alter depending on the circumstances. The second point is legal effect. Non-recognition does not mean that an entity is ineligible for statehood. However, recognition should be given since it has significant legal implications. Under international and local law, the recognized states acquire certain rights, advantages, and immunities. The normal act of recognition has two legal functions, which are first, it determines statehood, which is an issue of law, and second, it is a requirement for the criteria of diplomatic relations. In Tinoco concessions case, the court held that the mere fact that a state is not recognized does not imply that the state does not exist. As a result, its subsequent administration is responsible for the action of its predecessors. In international law, a successor government cannot renounce the predecessor's contract or acts that have international repercussions. Last but not least, diplomatic recognition is the legal acceptance of a state's sovereignty by another state or government. There are two theoretical frameworks in particular that are linked to state recognition, which are constitutive theory and declarative theories. Recognizance requires the recognized states exercising rights and perform responsibilities in international law for states. The recognition of one state by another does not imply any need to establish diplomatic ties or other linkages between them. A state's political existence is independent of recognition by other states, and so an unrecognized state must be considered subject to international law. Unrecognized state has the right to protect its integrity and independence, to ensure its survival and development, and to organize itself as it sees proper. The lack of recognition from the rest of the world frequently hinders the state's attempt to gain complete acceptance on the international stage. Without recognition, governments are barred from participating in international collaboration and decision-making. In conclusion, the recognition of the state is a necessary step in order for the state to enjoy the rights and benefits accorded to independent communities under international law. Both de facto and de jure recognition provide rights, advantages, and duties. Although recognition is legally seen as a political instrument, it has significant legal consequences. The legal consequences that frequently emerge as a result of an entity's recognition or non-recognition, both in the international domain and inside the municipal law of a given state. When a state achieves recognition, it acquires certain rights, duties, and immunity. It gains the ability to engage in diplomatic relations with other states. It gains the ability to engage into accords with other countries. That's all from me. Thank you.